Wingman. Okay, let's go. Wingman tier list.
Wingman. That's how you want. That's how you want to start it. Wingman.
Yeah, Wingman. Yeah, that's how we're starting
Alright, fine.
it. Just some
All right,
background.
Wingman tier list.
We love Wingman. We play it a lot, and we appreciate that it's in the game so much. Just so valuable.
The game, by the way, is Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Global Offensive.
Because we didn't say that, freaking asshole.
Yep. But
imagine
here
someone. Imagine this auto queued to someone, and they're like, "What the fuck tier list is this?" And they don't read the title yet, and they think like,
Team
"What?
Fortress
Wingman?
2.
What's Team Fortress?" That'd be kind of cool if Team Fortress 2 had like a
wingman mode.
Had like a wingman mode. Well, I mean, I have no idea if it does. Maybe it does.
I haven't played it since I was like 10, so I don't know. But let's do it. So we got maps from every era. I think we got every map in here. So let's go. Pit stop first. What are we saying?
Right, pit stop, new map. We've played it a little bit. I really like it. I think it's interesting. I think definitely an A tier. Definitely in the top like 30% in my opinion. What do you think?
I was leaning more towards B, but it's kind of hard to compare. I kind of want to put it like this is one that I think we're gonna move. So we can put it in an A for now.
There for now.
Lake. So I don't
I think
like. I can
definitely a B.
I can come out and say that I don't think this map is very competitive, but I do think it's fun.
That is true.
So
it is very fun.
It feels a little weird putting pit stop ahead. But we can do this for now, and we'll adjust.
Yeah, I definitely both enjoy and feel like it's more pit stop is more competitive. So I enjoy pit stop more and think it's a little more competitive.
Lake enables the very stupid strategies like literally sitting 5 miles away from the house with a sniper or a deagle or whatever and just winning every round, or running upstairs and then the team automatically loses the game. So, stuff like that.
I do like that it's huge.
Yeah, I do like that too. And it also comes from like Demolition and Arms Race kind of, so I like that as well. It gives me nostalgia. But moving on, we got Short Dust, which is a small version of Dust 1.
I think this could be an S tier, honestly.
Definitely has
there's a lot that you can do. It might be the last one in S tier, but it is very fun. I mean, we've also played it a buttload. We're probably a little biased, but
I think it's actually
we've got all our strats and stuff.
Quite well designed for Wingman, because if both teams rush the site, like terrorists sometimes get just enough time to plant, but CT can intervene, and then there's so many different entrances into site that you always have to be quite paranoid. You never feel quite safe. I don't know. And the
distance, yeah, and the distance to flank is short enough that it's relevant. But like in some maps, like Lake, flanking is like, well, it's impractical. It's doable, but like, what's an actual map where like going behind? I mean, most of these Wingman maps are done pretty well. So like a flanking kind of like getting behind the enemy makes sense and to attempt.
Yeah. I also, it comes down to like how many entrances the terrorists have. Like you can take so many different routes, and it doesn't seem like that at first glance, but this map gets more and more interesting the more you play it, in my opinion.
Yeah, so it's also just plain fun. We love it.
Yeah. Next we have Train.
This could be our first C.
Yeah, I couldn't put it in D, but I definitely could put it in C. It's not that the map isn't designed well, it's more that it's just not very fun to me.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, I don't really enjoy it as much either.
Like if I were to pick Lake or Train, I'd go with Lake every time.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We have a I mean, we've ended up somehow playing it so many times that we've had names for certain things that aren't conventional. That's just between us. For example, going behind. If you're on T side, if you just go straight. If you are on CT side and you go that way and like flank, we call that reverse sausage dog.
Whereas from T side, it would be just regular sausage dog.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why we thought it was. I think because maybe it bends a little bit at the ends for some reason.
I think.
I don't know. We were just being stupid one day.
The official name for one of the places on the map is called Pop Dog, and then all of a sudden, I think I just started calling it Sausage Dog at one time.
That sounds right.
Yeah, so on
that might be it.
The ladder down into site is called Pop Dog. So yeah, maybe it's something like that. But moving on, we have Cobblestone.
I think this is definitely a B.
I'm feeling a solid B, but like a low B. That's what I'm feeling on this one.
Behind Lake, I do like it, but getting onto
compare. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. getting onto site from CT can be a little tricky if T side really rushes. Like if you want to, get to chicken coop or get all the way to the end and hold it, if they push you, so that's a little like frustrating because you have to like do shit with nades. If the T side plays extremely well, they can kind of take long very quickly, I feel. But
I was actually going to argue it's harder for T side to get onto site because if they just get smoked off on long or the molly gets thrown, then
yeah,
CT just
true. Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't think of that. Yeah, no, yeah, no,
I
absolutely.
struggle on
If you
T
molly
side.
off long, they get annihilated.
Yeah. And another thing about Cobble is like if you compare it to a map like Short Dust and you think about what the terrorist options are, there's just very little. Like you can go down drop or you can go long. That's it. That's
Yeah,
all you got. And whereas
yeah,
on
and if
Short
you,
Dust you can just
mhm,
there's a plethora of opportunities.
yeah, and if you go short, if you go drop, then you have to either go like towards site or through CT spawn to the site. So
Yeah.
like, there's only a couple places that CTs have to watch once they've
Mm.
made it to site.
But
So it
there's
kind
a
of
very
becomes a who
intrusive
gets
path into CT spawn for terrorists. So there's a lot of different complexities here, but there's definitely less entrances, which I am not a fan of.
except for Nuke.
Well, no, but Nuke has three. Nuke has three, whereas this map has two. If you're watching the like direct points, Nuke you can go through the glass or through the double doors or through the single door. Here you can go long or you
Dang, I
can go
guess you're
drop.
kind of right. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. I think is yeah. You're right. It's a little bit different
And what's
because of that.
crucial on Wingman is that you're watching. You have two people, and you can only watch two things with two people, right? So if you have three entry points, all of a sudden you can get overwhelmed if you guess wrong. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of my thought.
a little bit.
Calavera.
Actually, I think that's Guardian,
Yeah, you're right.
right?
This is guard. It's actually called guard. My
Or
bad.
Guard. Sorry.
We
But
played
yeah,
this
Guard.
a couple times. It wasn't really a favorite of ours. I
I
don't
could
think it
drop
was.
it behind train easily.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the same kind of emotional connection for us. I guess we didn't play it very many times, but
Emotional.
that's it is kind of. I find these maps kind of like we have a bit of an emotional connection to a good few of them. But
Yeah.
but
Well, we've had the opportunity to try them out. This one we didn't really have the chance to because we
no.
had to. We play video games when we don't have school, which is now and right
Yeah,
at the start of school.
yeah.
So it got removed from the rotation while we were busy, so we didn't really get to play it too much.
I agree, but
It was in the
also when
rotation
we were
during that
playing
time.
it, we got really frustrated. I think, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's because we were figuring it out. We
Yeah,
were still in the
probably.
break period for
Yeah, yeah.
sure. But yeah,
But I mean, we just don't have that much experience. I'm actually fine with dropping it into a D. I don't have a reason to hate it though. We'll go with Nuke now.
okay.
Which
I think Nuke.
yeah,
Mm.
like
It's
at
interesting because you didn't love Nuke as much as I did for a while. This is more of like a
no,
recent last couple
I was
months or
just
weeks
about to
kind of a thing.
mention that this is something that in the last 6 months we've really kind of gravitated towards now. We're really good. Like I mean, when I say really good, we this is one of our best maps. Uh,
Yeah.
and and
You can tell
as
because it's the most brain dead freaking easy map to understand. There's
yeah,
basically big room, you watch from CT different places, and they come in through 3 different places. The best part is if they want to push something, they have to make a noise. So on CT side, you just use your ears. Amazing.
yeah, but it's kind of the same.
Freaking love it.
Like like now that I'm thinking about why certain maps are good or bad, it comes down to I think just the perfect amount of like T entrances versus like not having too many, like balancing the entrances between having too many and not having enough. And I think Nuke and
Yeah.
Short Dust are examples of maps that are designed really well. Like
Yeah.
games will be close.
I
Uh,
totally agree. On
mm, it,
short
it,
dust, it's kind of cool. It's different because the entryways are not like sound, like they're not binded to a noise. Like when you open the door, there's a noise, obviously in a
mm,
visual cue. With short dust,
the
you
glass
see as
breaking.
if you're looking, yeah, in the glass breaking window. On short
Mm,
dust, what's really cool is that you can do sneaking, which is kind of interesting because in nuke there's not a lot of sneaking, you know,
you have a
basically
few
at all.
audio cues as well on Short Dust, like the ladder if you don't walk up it. But yeah.
For sure, but, like, I mean, any entrance to site, like,
Mm,
if you go main, if you go outside, if you go short, like, all of those you have to be watching to see someone.
Yeah, I
So I
agree.
think it also varies a little bit based on play style. It's not necessarily that you need an auditory or visual cue. It's sort of how you want to play the map. Nuke, it's very much like balls to the wall, Negev, spraying like a lunatic because like, like through smokes. Using nades is very important on Nuke. Whereas on Short Dust, it's more important to like have a lot more awareness of where the enemy is and kind of I don't want to say game sense, but kind of like the positional game sense where you're like, where are you? Where did your teammate die? Where are they probably at? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I
So it's a
agree.
different way of playing the game, I think.
No,
Even
I
though
agree with you.
even then Nuke's freaking amazing.
It
So
is, it
fun.
is. Next up we got Inferno.
Dude, I would put Inferno in front of Pit Stop at A.
Yeah.
Possibly back of S. I love
Honestly,
Inferno.
I agree with you. I don't know why it's not S. Maybe I mean it's unique in the way that it is a perfect square, and there are enough
Actually put it
entrances
in
as
S.
well. Yeah,
Put it
I
back
was
of
just
S.
about.
Put it back of S. I was just thinking about it too.
Yeah. I think it's
Oh,
unique
so
in how
much fun.
simple it is as well. Like in the same way as Nuke. Uh,
Yeah.
I think my only complaint about Inferno maybe is the site. I don't know.
I agree. I think they could be a little more creative with the site. It's a little frustrating to like go on site and to either clear it or plant. That could
Yeah,
be
and
just
there's someone
our fault.
crouching on the box or something, and yeah,
Oh yeah, the box in the shady corner. But yeah, it could be our fault because we just don't know a whole lot about how to play site because mostly we've either killed them, they've killed us, or we've gotten the plant off and just gotten lucky that they didn't see us in sight.
that's an interesting side note. Which of these map? I mean, we'll take it at the end, but it could be interesting to think about like which maps you can actually plant on. Like that's another factor in how good the map is.
Mm,
Yeah, but
I haven't thought about that.
mm, we'll
Which
do
maps
Overpass
get more
now.
plants?
I think that
Mhm.
this is a prime example of an A map.
Agree. Absolutely agree.
Ahead of Pit Stop for
It's
me.
it's only got the 2 entrances, but it has the jump scouting location, which is very
Or just the
interesting.
boost in general. Yeah.
Yeah, the boost is very interesting. And then, um, if you manage to pick a CT, then the remaining CT has a very hard time controlling both entrances to site,
Yeah,
which
I agree.
is very interesting. So what will happen is, but it's not. I don't want to say balanced, but I mean, it's Overpass generally is a more CT sided map, right?
Yeah,
If I
because you
remember
can
correctly.
very easily with Cobble it's a little harder to keep the terrorists out with grenades, mollies, smokes, but on Overpass you just throw down a molly twice, a smoke twice, and you already wasted so much of their time. And if they're pushing through that, they're going to be at a disadvantage. So it makes it
Right.
easier. Um, and you also have the advantage of having so many different places you can sit on site before they even get there. So every time they're going to be left guessing where you might be.
Right.
So I think it's a
Yeah.
huge CT advantage map, and that's the
So
reason why
maybe all right. So
it
yeah. So
doesn't
this is fair
compete.
to say it's a CT map,
Yeah, but in a way,
but
it feels kind of cool because you're CT and you're kind of defending the fortress, and it really does feel like it's a fortress that they're kind of breaking in through. I kind of like the aspect that
right.
it's a bit CT sided.
And as ST, you can still do like you can push monster together, and if they don't kill one of you soon, you can easily kind of begin to overrun CTs, and then if you basically get to site, I think that's sort of a win for the Ts. Because if they get site, they've pushed CTs either out towards their spawn or towards short, or um, into water or into their spawn. And those are
Also,
just terrible places to retake from.
an honorable mention is also that heaven area. It's quite well designed. I
Heaven.
like it.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Hmm.
That doesn't get used a lot in the
No,
games.
yeah,
At least
because
I've
it's
noticed.
because you can't actually cover from there. Like there's a pillar ahead, you
Yeah.
can't really watch. Like someone can
And it's
sneak
not
past
super
you.
useful for T side. Even for CTs, if they're not in short, it almost makes sense for you to just stay in short and hold from short. I guess if like it's like down to the wire and you need to like surprise them, it would make sense. But
One thing
I don't
about
know.
this
It
map
just
which
seems
is
out of the way.
completely dead though is like the entrance. If you're going to the left, like you can go to the left right when you spawn, and you can go through that whole like tunnel and down the stairs, and you remember that, right?
On which side?
It's called
Sorry.
Connector in the competitive map.
Oh, the competitive map. Oh,
no, in
I know what
Wingman.
you're talking about. Yeah.
In Wingman, yeah, like why is that in Wingman? This Wingman app, but whatever. We'll move on.
Okay. I think I
Elysian.
was a little confused. It was pretty fun. We didn't get to play it enough. I would put it maybe between Lake and Cobblestone.
Really? Ahead of Train?
I would put it ahead of Train for sure. Train is very much not fun. Elysian was fun. It's just the thing is we didn't get to play it that much. The hallway that you're kind of forced, well, not forced to, but you can go through is really fun for like, people will go play for picks, they go to the site.
My brutally
It's
honest
nice,
opinion on
but it's not a
Elysian
developed map.
is that it's a little too complicated.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's like one hallway. There's a bathroom that is like a little hallway detour that's a straight line.
And you go to the right, and you kind of see like off a balcony, and
you can either go
the site
balcony or
has
go
like an
through
over
the thing.
balcony as well. And the site just doesn't seem like a place where you can really plan because you always there's someone always watch. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I feel like I like it about as much as like Train. But if you have a strong opinion on it, we can leave it at B.
Well, I think you might not have the best perspective because unfortunately you do have audio issues with CS where it just won't play the audio on the right time or at all or at the right volume. So like it's very hard to tell where they are for you. But when I play, like if I heard noises, I'd feel like oriented a little better. Still, obviously, it lacks a lot of the elements from the S and even some A tier maps. But I wouldn't necessarily put it in. Well, I could put it in C tier, but I would put it ahead of Train.
Okay, I think I'm happy with this then.
Okay, which by the way, you gotta figure out the audio problems, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Poor thing.
I think it has to do with Discord.
Yeah, I am very happy putting Calavera in D. I despise it.
Yeah, I was teasing the viewers putting it up there. No, yeah, I think this is the case of we haven't played this enough, but also the site is a bit of a mess. Yeah, I don't know. I just
True.
If you jump down there, it just feels like a death wish sometimes.
Yeah. We also haven't played enough to understand how to play it properly, but it just doesn't. It's not very enjoyable.
We say this having played it 3 times where we lost every game, so we're a bit salty about it.
That too. So we're probably tilted.
Yeah, I think it's a similar situation to Guard. But honestly, like I don't see this map ever competing with.
I would rather play Guard. I'd rather play Guard.
Yeah, same actually. And
where do you
before we get into Vertigo, I will mention that Rialto is not on this list. That was that was a bit of an error because I think the PNG didn't get was like a different image file and it didn't get loaded into the tier list. But
maybe we talk about Rialto last.
Yeah,
so we can have everything on.
Last.
Okay.
It's definitely a more controversial one. So yeah.
More controversial? What do you mean? It's easy. It's very obvious where it goes.
No, I think there are people who liked it actually. I think that. Okay, I'll stop talking. We'll get there.
I didn't want to imply. Yeah, I could put Vertigo back of B.
Yeah, I think that this is a map where we're gonna eventually like more than Cobble, but it's not quite there yet.
I think you're right. You're right. We just have to play it more and understand it more.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun because it forces a short, close range, like kind of thing when you're on site. If you're positioned closer towards the wall as like a defender.
I like
but you can still get a lot of op usage.
I like the T side closes in from like it's an L. It's in like an L shape. The T side comes into like this corner. I don't know, something about it. I like the elevation changes.
That is nice. That is refreshing to have in a Wingman map. There's not a lot that have extreme elevation stuff. Oh, it's not. I wouldn't say it's that extreme.
So this map has definitely grown on me. And I loved that when they're experimenting with the different sites on this map. And I don't even know if I prefer this one or the other one. I kind of like the other ramp more, but yeah, I think Vertigo is actually a well-suited map for Wingman. I think that this one is one that's going to grow on us even more than it has already.
For sure.
At first, I think this map was like down here for us. But now it's here.
Agreed.
And so before we talk about Rialto, which is our kind of closing statement, are we happy with this?
Yeah, I'm fine with this. This looks good.
The only one I'm questioning, like we've put a very new map that we've played about 5 times up here, right? So that means it's quite good then. These maps that we played hundreds of times, down here.
I don't know about you, but I think pit stop's gonna be like the fact that we already enjoy it so much from having played it so little. I think is a good sign. It's very unlikely it will somehow get worse. I think
for me,
us.
what I want is this. But
right, you can do that. That's fine.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, then that's
Because
what I
Lake
wanted to
is
get
fun.
out of that.
Purely for the reason of fun, not
Yeah,
competitiveness or
not competitiveness.
whatever.
I just think there's just so many different elements to it. Like definitely the map with the most elements, the house, the outside, everything for me. That's the reason
Yeah,
why
that
I
doesn't
like it so much.
necessarily make it great
No,
though.
no, of course no. But there's every game is different. That's what I like about it. You're always gonna have a new experience on it. But now we come to Rialto, which we don't have an image for because it doesn't deserve it because we don't like Rialto. That's the reason it's
Yeah,
not
that's
here.
the reason. That's good.
See, like it's so far down here, like you know, it doesn't deserve an image, but you know, if it were on this list, it would be here.
Rialto tier.
Maybe it's because we lost every single game we played on it, and we played it over
Absolute
100 times.
trash. Terrible, disgusting, garbage. That map is so bad. I mean, it has some things that are interesting, but like, it's just cringe. It ends up being like your butthole is tight, like as fuck. You're walking around hoping you don't get shot. Everyone just shift walks for the entire map. Oh, I see someone.
So
you
just
know, and you hope not
realize
to get lucky. I don't
realize
like
the
it.
lazy
Don't make me
company of Valve, which almost never makes map changes or like
Lol.
updates very infrequently, decided to remove Rialto, a map that had been a staple in the Wingman roster. So they actually actively went out of their way to remove this map. So they also pretty much acknowledge that there's something wrong with the map, and I think that from my perspective, there's a fundamental problem with the map, and that is the double rooftops, which kind of just ruin.
There's just too many angles you can get wrecked from.
CSGO isn't meant to be a game where you're looking up like almost 90 degrees. You know, that's not the mechanic of the game.
Well, if you changed your sensitivity, you wouldn't have such an issue with turning around in less than 10 seconds. But
just think about it. You're turning around. You have to keep an eye at 360. Usually that's all. You don't have to look at the ground, but you have to look all around you, like elevation changes and everything, and it just makes for a very jarring experience for me. That's like my
jarring. Ooh, vocab.
Yes, that's my kind of like techie way of saying why I don't like Rialto. In my more not techie way, I would say I hate the map and I always die and lose on this map.
Right. Yes. My techie way is it's absolute trash. It shouldn't have been added to Wingman in the first place. And anyone who disagrees, feel free to dislike the video and be a little bitch.
Yep. Pretty much.
Suck it.
But yeah, we love Wingman regardless. I think we'd really be willing to play any of these maps because it's a lot of fun.
It's some of the most fun I've had in CS.
Yeah,
honestly.
For someone who has like I don't know, we're very close friends. I think that the ability to play something competitive as a 2v2 scenario is just unmatched for me.
Yeah, I remember the day they added Wingman. We were so excited to get to it. We just started going nuts.
Yeah,
it was super fun.
And the last thing I'll bring up in this video is if you were to add one map from competitive, what would it be, and what is your favorite map? That's those are the two questions we're closing on.
Just give us engagement for fuck's sake.
No, you can go first.
Sorry, what?
No, what is your favorite map, and what map do you wish they would add?
Oh, that's me. I thought you were talking to the viewers. All no. 5 of them.
No.
Yeah, my favorite map. What do you mean? Yeah, favorite map I think is like definitely Nuke.
Nuke, and if they would add one of the competitive maps like Dust 2 or Mirage, what would you choose? What do you think would be cool?
Oh, right, yeah. I would I think adding Dust 2 with the yeah, Dust 2 I think with A-Site would be interesting.
Okay.
Dust 2 with A-Site.
I really wish they would
You can have access to Cat or you can have access to Long as TVs.
Yeah, I think double doors would be very interesting if you have double doors.
Yeah, and then they have to watch also below CT spawn as well.
Yeah, I like that.
I think it'd be very interesting.
My option would be
How about you? Yeah.
Mirage A-Site. I think
Mirage
that.
A site.
So and then.
Oh yes, yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Because then you can come from mid, or from palace, or from what's the place called? Main. Where the stairs come
Yeah,
up. And I think that
yeah,
CTs would spawn where they usually do, and a bunch of areas would be blocked off, and it'd just be A site, and there'd be 3 entrances. I think that would make it for a great site for
yeah. No,
Wingman.
for sure.
And my
That would be
favorite map of the bunch, I think I like Lake the most. But like, if I want to play competitively, I'll also pick Nuke.
Nope, nope.
Because
Map you like the most. Map you like the most. Go. You don't get to do this.
when I'm playing with you,
That's
I'd say
illegal.
Nuke probably as
Of
well.
all, no, that is not the question. Of all time, favorite Wingman map. That is the question. Answer.
Okay, Lake classically, yeah.
All
Like
right, freaking
that is my
asshole.
map.
All right, good.
But feel free to
Really
answer the questions in the same questions in the chat. I'm actually very curious as well. So that's been the video. Thank you for watching, and subscribe if you like the content.
Wow, you're so funny. Thanks for
Why you
watching.
bully me, man?
See you, bitches.